I've worked in accounting and finance for over 15 years, and I've been on my own personal finance journey from being in debt to building financial independence. And one thing I've noticed both in my work and my own life is that it's not just about how much you earn. What really holds people back, including myself at one point, is bad money habits. So in this video, I'm breaking down 9 money habits keeping you broke and how you can break them to save more, build wealth, and finally fully in control of your money. Let's get into it. Habit number 1, living above your pay grade. Living above your means is one of the fastest ways to stay broke. And I say that with love because I did this myself for years. You know those friends who always want to shop at Louis V, who want to go for dinner at Nobu, and who always want to book the VIP tickets and know they're trying to keep up even though you know your money can't stretch? In those moments, it's okay to be honest and say, you know what, I can't afford this right now. It's not in my budget. You don't have to try and keep up. There's nothing wrong with wanting nice or luxury experiences. I mean, who doesn't want to splurge on themselves? But if your lifestyle is costing more than your income, then you're going to end up in debt. That's exactly what happened to me. I was spending way above my pay grade, saying yes to upgrading hotel rooms, to shopping at Gucci when I had no business being in there. But I wanted to keep up. But I was struggling financially. Living paycheck to paycheck was stressing me out. So eventually I had to get real with myself and my situation. I had to say to my friends, babes, you know what? I can't afford Nobu this month. Let's go to SDK for dinner. You have to be honest with yourself and be honest with your friends. And if they're your real friends, they'll understand. Habit number 2, FOMO spending. Speaking of trying to keep up, let's talk about FOMO because it's really real. Social media is basically everyone's highlight reel and it makes you feel like you're missing out. You see influencers showing off their outfits, trips and luxurious lifestyles and you start thinking, I need that to look the part too. But what they don't always show you is that behind the scenes, sometimes debt is for actually funding that lifestyle. I've even got a friend who rocks Balenciaga, she has a Louis bag and even designer jewelry, but she doesn't have an emergency fund. That's crazy to me. I don't get it. The marketing is designed to make us feel like we need those things to feel successful or to feel seen. But ask yourself, would you rather look like money or actually have money? It's easy to feel like you're missing out if you're not doing bottomless brunch every weekend or going on luxury trips or buying the latest designer drip. But here's the truth, missing out is okay. When I was paying off debt and building my emergency fund, I had to say no to a lot of things. That season of sacrifice was tough, but it changed everything. Now I can travel, enjoy experiences and say yes to things without worrying if I can afford it. And that piece is priceless. Habit number 3, not having a budget. A lot of people don't budget because they think it means restriction, like you're no longer allowed to spend or have fun, but that's not true at all. A budget is a plan. It gives you clarity, it gives your money direction and helps you spend with intention, not guilt. Because if you don't know where your money is going, you're setting yourself up to fail. You'll start spending, swiping your card, and by the end of the month you're wondering, where did all my money go? You need to know exactly how much you're earning, how much your essential costs like rent, bills and utilities are, and how much you're saving and what's actually left over. That's how you get a full picture of your finances. You can't manage what you don't measure. And the people who actually stay on top of their budgets are more likely to hit their goals because they know what's coming in, what's going out, how much debt they've got and how far they've got to go. Use whatever method works for you to create a budget, whether it's a spreadsheet, a budget app, or even my free budget template that I'll link in the description box below. Whatever method you use, just make sure you're tracking your income, fixed expenses, savings, and whatever's left over for spending. But don't just set it and forget it. You need to check in regularly. So I recommend setting aside about 30 minutes each month to review it, see what's working and make any necessary adjustments. That's how you stay in control and make your money work for you. Habit number 4, paying yourself fast. So here's what most people do. They get paid, they cover their rent, phone bill, subscriptions, maybe do a little shopping and then try to save whatever's left. But the problem is there's usually nothing left. Whereas wealthy people, they flip that. They pay themselves first. Before paying bills, swiping their card, they put a portion of their income straight towards themselves for things like saving and investing and building wealth. They prioritize their goals before everybody else. We're conditioned to pay other people first, like our bills, and that's valid. You've got to pay your bills like your rent and your phone and your essentials, right? But your goal should be your top priority. So here's what you should do instead. Start automating a portion of your income to go into savings as soon as you get paid. Treat it like a non-negotiable bill. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck, I get it, it might feel hard. You might be wondering, well, how am I supposed to save? But start with what you can afford, even if it's just £50 or £100 a month. Trust me, you'll be surprised at how you can adjust and make it work with what you have and not even realize you're missing out money. But the most important part isn't about the amount, it's about discipline. You're teaching yourself to put you first financially, and that habit is how you build wealth. Habit number 5, not having an emergency fund. Not having an emergency fund is one of the biggest reasons people end up in debt. Your boiler breaks down, your car needs fixing, or suddenly you lose your job. And next thing you know, you're relying on credit to survive. I've been there. I remember being made redundant and then the gearbox on my car went and I had no savings. So I had to borrow money from a friend. And honestly, I hated that feeling. That experience taught me that an emergency fund is a non-negotiable. It's not just about saving, it's about having peace of mind. So the way you can build your emergency fund is by paying yourself first. If you're starting from scratch, just focus on saving your first £1,000. That will give you a basic buffer. Then work your way up to your full emergency fund. That's 3 to 6 months worth of essential living expenses. Now, I'm not talking about your Netflix or Amazon subscription. I'm talking about your essential living costs like your rent and utilities. You also want to automate it so you can save effortlessly, and don't touch it unless it's a real emergency. Habit number 6, only saving and not investing. Saving is one of the foundations of good money management. It gives you peace of mind because you've got a buffer if life throws something at you. It's your safety net and it's essential. But here's the truth, if you want to build real wealth, saving alone won't get you there. There's only so much you can save and only so much you can cut back. And at some point, you've got to look at how to grow your money. And that's where investing comes in. So once your full emergency fund is in place, it's time to go from saving to investing. Because money just sitting in a savings account is slowly losing value thanks to inflation. You have to put it to work. And I get it, investing can feel scary. And because of this, I waited way too long to start because I thought I don't know enough and that I might lose my money. So I kept saving because it felt safer. But that safe feeling was costing me money in the long run. What helped me start investing was starting simple. I began with index funds and ETFs because they're low cost, diversified, and perfect for beginners. And then later, once I felt more confident, I added a few individual stocks to my portfolio. The reality is there will always be a reason not to start, whether it's feeling unsure or thinking you don't have enough money. So let me simplify it for you. Start with index funds and invest what you can afford, even if it's just £100 a month, and do it consistently. When I first started, I could only afford £250 a month, so I did that consistently, and then I increased it over time as my income grew. The key is just to start, because the longer you wait, the more you'll miss out on compound growth, and the harder you'll have to work to catch up. Habit number 7, getting comfortable with debt. People have gotten way too comfortable with having debt. We swipe cards without a second thought and use Klarna for clothes and shoes, essentially things we should be paying with cash. But here's the truth, you're spending money that you don't actually have, and that's how you stay stuck in a debt cycle. And those high interest rates mean that you end up paying way more than the item is actually worth. So that Louis V bag could easily end up costing you double if you're carrying a credit balance. So here's my rule of thumb, if you can't afford it in cash, just don't buy it. And if you do use a credit card, make sure you pay that balance off in full every single month. Overall, avoid debt wherever you can unless it's truly necessary. Habit number 8, not taking advantage of tax benefits. Taxes can take up a lot of your money if you aren't aware of how to legally reduce them. Robert Kiyosaki talks about this in his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Wealthy people are always looking for ways to lower their tax bill, and in many cases they end up paying way less tax than somebody who works a 9-to-5 job. One of the biggest ways to get ahead is to learn the tax rules and make them work for you. For example, if you're in the UK, a stocks and shares ISA allows you to invest without paying tax on the gains, and if you're in the US, a Roth IRA does the same. And if you're self-employed or run a side hustle, there are tax benefits that you can take advantage of, like registering as a limited company and deducting legit business expenses. When I switched from working a permanent role to contracting, my income doubled. Not just because I was earning more, but because I was able to keep more of my money. I could deduct expenses like my laptop and things I needed to run my business anyway, and pay tax on the profits. But when you're an employee, it works the other way around. You get tax first, then you pay your bills with what's left. And that helped me build wealth so much faster. I learned the system and I made it work for me. I know taxes can feel confusing or intimidating, but trust me, it's not as scary as it seems. Start with the basics, do your research, or speak to a professional. Even just understanding how your ISA works can make such a big difference. Trust me, your future self will thank you. Habit number 9, being unorganized with money. Sometimes being unorganized can cost you money. You end up ordering Uber Eats because you didn't plan your meal. You end up taking last minute Ubers instead of getting on the train, or paying extra for flights because you didn't book early enough. And these little things, they can add up fast. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a bit of spontaneity, but not if it's costing me money. So start planning ahead, meal prep, check your routes in advance. Trust me, it saves time and stress. Look at areas where you're overspending and build a plan around them. For example, if you find yourself always ordering Uber Eats, take around 30 minutes to plan your meals for the week. Write down what you need, go food shopping and get your ingredients. That way, when it's meal time, you're not panicking or tempted to order in because you already know what you're eating. You don't need to be super rigid, just organize enough so that you're not throwing money away. Leveling up financially isn't just about earning more, it's about changing the habits that keep you stuck. I had to unlearn every single one of these habits, and once I did, my finances improved drastically. So let me know in the comments below, which habit are you working on breaking? And if you want to build new habits that actually move you forward, check out my video on how to manage your money like the 1%. I'll link it below. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.